Hey folks, Tony from Tacoma, Washington. Hey, today I want to talk to you about the Vault rifle case by Pelican, the V800. So in my mind, Pelican is kind of the gold standard in rifle cases. You know, that's what the military issues to soldiers being deployed. I've never heard anything bad about a Pelican case. I've got a couple of smaller Pelican cases that I use for my handguns, and they're rock solid. So I was leaning toward a Pelican, but I got to tell you, the ones the military issues are $300 to $400, and I just couldn't lay out that kind of money. So this Vault Series on Amazon was $199 for the V800, which is the largest one they make. All right, let's look at some of the features. It comes with 3 carrying handles. It has the one in the middle so you can carry it like a suitcase. And then it has a handle at either end, so if you're loading it or unloading it, especially in your pickup truck, these really come in handy. It also has wheels, so it's awfully big and heavy to carry, but it's really easy to wheel this thing around. So you stand it up like a piece of luggage and you just wheel it. All right, moving around, it has 6 latches. Some of the other cases that I looked at, you know, they all have latches, but these latches are easier to use, and I really liked these latches. So what they have is they have the latch, but they have a part in the center that you depress to release the latch. See if I can do this in camera. So there it's locked, and, well, it's not locked. Okay, there it's locked, and it won't release, but if you push this middle button, look how easy it opens. I really like that latch. So it's secure, it won't come open, real light touch, and boom, the latch comes right open. So it has 6 of those latches, 1 at each end, and then 4 across the front of the case, opposite of the four hinges. Inside the case on the bottom, to protect your rifle, it has 3 layers of foam. It has 1 layer that's about 3/4 of an inch, and then it has 2 layers that are about 2 inches thick of this high density foam. On the lid side, it has 2 layers of foam. It has 1 layer that's about 3/4 of an inch, and then another layer that's about 1 inch on the lid. Okay, so I got home with the case. I was feeling pretty good about it. I had spent a little bit more than I wanted to spend, but you know what? I got a Pelican case. How can you go wrong? So I got it home. I wanted to open it up. And look at this. All right, 2 things happened that I'm not real crazy about. First, look at how much flex there is in this lid. I was hoping it would be more rigid. Now in the store, I actually kneeled on all of the cases to see how much flex I could get out of the plastic. And this one is reasonably rigid. It's not as rigid as the other Pelican cases, like the 1700 series or the 3300 series are more rigid. But when you compare this against some of the other brands, it has fairly good rigidity. So I was surprised when I had this much flex in the lid. The second thing that made me a little crazy was the foam from the lid fell out. You know, it fell on top of the other foam. Okay, so I continued opening the lid, and what I realized was there's nothing to hold the lid in place. It will fall all the way to about here. I was kind of hoping with a lid that's this heavy that they might have had a strap to hold it, you know, about 90 or 100 degrees, but they didn't. So that's something I'm going to have to try to work out. All right, here's one of the things that bothers me the absolute most about this case. When I opened it up, they've got this brochure inside, and the brochure says 1 year limited warranty. Man, that killed me. I spent the extra money because I wanted Pelican quality. I wanted that unbeatable lifetime guarantee from Pelican. And what I got was a limited 1-year warranty. So I'm disappointed in that. It just seems like, I don't know, Pelican's one of those brands that you think, you don't have to think about it. You just know that it has an an unlimited warranty. So to buy this product for $200 and find out they're only standing behind it for 1 year was discouraging. All right, I've got one last issue I want to talk about this case. I think the wheels are on the wrong end. Now let me explain that. This is how I like to have my gun in my case. What I'm looking for is when I stand the case up, when I close the lid and stand the case up so it's resting on the bottom of the case, I like my gun to be in the case in this position so that the weight of the gun is supported by the stock. If you turn it around the other way when you stand it up, then the weight of the gun is on the scope, and I don't like that. So I like it in the case like this. Also, so then when you're wheeling it, what I like, now the wheels are at that end, so when you're wheeling it, I like the butt of the gun to be at the wheels. Now, what does that mean? That means that when you're standing it up and wheeling it, and the gun is shifting in the case down, the weight is on the stock. But that's not the real reason. I like the gun with the butt at the wheel end so that when I get to the range and I go up to the firing line and I pull my case up to the firing line and set it down, when I do that, the muzzle of the gun is already facing downrange. Now you know how anal range safety officers can be. They like the muzzle always pointed downrange. So when your case is set up right, you wheel it up, you set it down, you open the lid, and the gun is already facing downrange. All you have to do is pick it out of the case, set it on the bench rest, you're ready to go. When I look at the other Pelican cases, and the other Pelican cases I own, the wheels are at the other end, and I like it. I like that better. I don't know why Pelican decided that they needed to put the wheels down at this end. Anyway, I like the wheels at the other end. Kind of the same thing true as when you're loading a case into your pickup truck. You know, you wheel it up to your tailgate, and with the hand, you have in your hand, you set that on the tailgate, then you grab the wheel end and slide it in. Now the beauty of that, it'd be in your truck just like this. So you open up the lid, you rest it against the side of your truck, but then the rifle is in your truck just like this. So the muzzle's pointing in the safe direction. This is the direction that I like to have it in, so that you can work your rifle from here. What I don't want to do is open my case and then have the muzzle pointing out of my truck at me. So anyway, for those reasons, I just think the wheels are on the wrong end of this case. Okay, well, I returned that Pelican V800 and I ordered this Pelican Storm case iM3300 from Boss Innovative Marketing online. I think they're also called Pelicans for Less. So when all was said and done, when I paid $199 for the V800 and then paid sales tax on it, it came to like $219. When I bought this from Boss Innovative Marketing, I paid $10 overall more. So it was $229 delivered to my house complete. So here's the original Storm iM3300. This is the kind of case the military would issue. This is the case that comes with a full lifetime warranty. And I ended up paying only $10 more for this case. Let's just start off with the warranty. All right, so here's the Pelican warranty. Pelican proudly stands behind our products, offering a lifetime warranty for Pelican Protector and Pelican Storm case. And to learn more, go to pelican.com warranty. Okay, this iM3300 is very similar in size to the V800. The iM3300, this green one, is slightly smaller than the other Pelican. This is 6 inches deep versus 6.5. and it's a little bit smaller in length and width, but not by very much. My rifle actually fits in this case much better. Okay, the interior of the case is 50 inches in length and about just under 14 inches in width. And again, it's 6 inches deep. The case comes with these same great latches. They're not exactly the same as the V800, but they're the same design, where you have to push the center mechanism before the latch will release. So here it is locked down, you can't open it, and then you lightly press the center thing and it comes right open. So these work very good. I actually think the V800s worked a little better, but these work just great. This case is similar in every way to the V800. It has 4 hinges across the back. It has 6 latches, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and 4 across the front. One difference is this case doesn't have a handle at the bottom. And I'll get into it a little bit later, but that actually does cause a problem. I think the V800 with a handle at the bottom was actually preferable as far as that handle location goes. Everything else is pretty standard. It has the large handle here in the middle so you can carry it like a suitcase, and it also has a handle at the other end so that if you're rolling it on the wheels, you have something to grab a hold of to roll it. The foam inside the case is very similar to the other case. On the top you have this 2-inch piece of foam, and on the bottom you have 2 2-inch pieces of foam and then a 1-inch piece of foam. So here's the rifle in the case, and you can see that it's deep enough to almost completely bury the rifle completely in the case, so the lid only touches just the top of the scope turret. Okay, so why is that depth important? Well, the number one thing I want to protect is I want to protect my scope on this rifle. The most delicate part of the rifle is the scope, and the most delicate part of the scope is maintaining zero. What I want to make sure is that if this case gets handled roughly by some baggage handler, or if I happen to drop it too hard in my pickup truck, I want to make sure when I get to the match that my scope is still zeroed properly. And one of the beauties of this case is when you kneel on it with your full body weight, you get almost no flex. It flexes much less than 1 inch. So I haven't actually measured how much it flexes, but this is a very strong case. So here I am, I'm about 250 pounds. I have my full body weight on this one knee, and the case is deflecting maybe 3/4 of an inch. Now this case shares the same 2 problems as the V800. First, there was no strap when I bought the case to hold the lid in place and keep the lid from flopping open. Well, this is a pretty big lid, and so if you get to the match and you open your case, I really don't want the lid to flop all the way open and hit the ground on the other side. I want it held in place by a strap. So I've had to add my own strap, and that's what I did. I ended up putting a release at each end, a release at each end, so if I want to, I can take the strap completely out of the case and let the lid flop open, but for the most part, I just use it just the way it is. Now, this material, whatever Pelican uses, you can't get anything to stick to it. I tried several different types of glues and epoxies. Nothing sticked. So I ended up having to drill a hole in the case. Unfortunately, as concerned as I was about the warranty, I may have voided my warranty by drilling holes in the case. So what I did was I drilled holes in a location that was opposite the handle and protected by the handle. So here's the way I did my strap. I drilled the exact size hole to meet this binder post, and then I used some silicone sealant to put it all in place, and then I screwed it from the other side. Now I positioned that binder post right where the handle mounts, so it's protected by the same housing that holds the handle. I did the same thing on the top. I removed this latch by driving out the pins, removing the latch, and then you can't see it because it's too dark, but there's another binder post and screw right in through there. So the same thing, trying to protect that binder post from the elements by the same housing that holds the latch. Hope I didn't void my warranty, but if I did, that's just the way it is because the strap's important to me. Anyway, that's how I did mine. All right, comparing the flexibility in the lid against the V800, this lid is still pretty flexible. It's more flexible than I would have thought from a Pelican. But anyway, with the strap in place, it's very usable. Okay, so I said the wheels on the V800 Vault Case were at the wrong end. In this case, the iM3300 has the wheels, in my opinion, in the proper location. So to go over again, this is how I like my gun in the case. When I'm wheeling it on the wheels, when I'm standing the case up, wheeling it on the wheels, I want the weight of the gun to be resting, for the most part, on the buttstock. And so that's what I have in this case. When I set the case on the ground like a suitcase so that the case is upright, I want the weight of the gun being supported by the stock and by the foam behind the stock. What I don't want is the weight of the gun to be on the scope. Again, trying to maintain that zero and protect the scope as much as possible. So this is exactly how I want the gun in the case. I want the butt at the wheel end, and I want the bottom of the rifle facing the lid, so that when I open the lid, the gun is looking just like that. Okay, the idea is when I approach the firing line and I'm wheeling the case, I want to be able to wheel it right up to the firing line. And when I set it down, I want the muzzle of the gun facing downrange. So when I open the lid, I don't want to have to make any unnecessary motions with the gun. This is exactly how I want it. So if this is the firing line, the gun is already facing downrange. People have a hard time seeing what's happening in the case because the lid is being held upright. Because you'll notice I leave my bolt closed and a magazine in the gun. That makes people nervous. So what I do is when I get to the line, I remove the gun, I open the bolt, and I drop the mag right in my case. I do it that way so that I know that this gun is 100% ready, match ready when I open the case. Now I put the gun on the firing line, whether it be a prone position or on a bench. I'm ready to go with minimum motion, without making anybody nervous, and without unnecessary onlookers seeing what I'm doing. So this is the way I think the case should be set up, and this iM3300 has the wheels at the right side of the case to allow all this to happen. Okay, this case isn't perfect. I did find 3, maybe 4 cons about the case that I wish were different. All right, this is the bottom of the case, and the case is designed with these cutouts to allow it to nest, I think. So if you had multiple cases you wanted to stack up and lock together, they put these, they mold these things into the bottom of the case. Now the problem with these are that they stick up from the bottom. So if you're trying to slide the case over a smooth surface, they'll hit. And so if you're trying to slide the case in, you have to lift it past those, otherwise it hangs up. Well, let's say that this workbench is the tailgate of your truck or any flat surface you're trying to get the case on. You can see that these cutouts on the bottom are hitting that flat surface and keeping it from moving. If you lift the case and try to slide it in, it's still hitting. You have to lift the case high enough to clear those before you can slide it into place. And that brings up the second con. It would be great if this case had a handle on the back side. So when you're lifting it to clear those obstructions on the bottom of the case, you could grab the handle and just lift it up. Now, it's not a deal breaker in any way because there's plenty of room underneath of this handle and under this lip to get your hands and fingers to lift the back of the case. So you can do it, but the bottom handle on the V800 Vault case was actually pretty nice. It had a smooth bottom, so it didn't have this issue, plus it had the handle. It was actually easier to load that case than this one. Okay, the third and fourth con have to do with the lid itself. First, I think the foam should be glued in place. Now, this foam fits pretty good, so when you open the lid, the foam doesn't want to fall out the way it did on the Vault case. So this actually sticks in place pretty well. I actually glued this in because nothing pisses me off more than to get to the firing line, open the lid, and have the top foam fall inside and have to deal with that. So I glued mine in place. What I did was I just got some a hot glue gun, and I glued it in 4 places along the top on the inside, right against the upper lid, and that holds the foam in place. So it's loose at the bottom, so I can still, if I can do this, it's loose at the bottom so I can still get behind there and slide targets or paperwork in there, but the foam won't fall out. And the next con about the lid is, my goodness, Pelican, when a person pays this kind of money for a rifle case, it ought to have a damn strap. You shouldn't have to worry about the lid flopping all the way open and striking the ground on the other side. It ought to have a strap. And this strap costs next to nothing to put in. And it's, $1 part. I just can't believe you don't put straps inside of your rifle cases, because they're so necessary. When you go to the firing line and you watch shooter after shooter letting their lid flop open, and you can hear those things hitting the ground. It's not a fun thing. It's so much better when you can open your case and have the case lid just stay about the 90-degree or 100-degree angle and stay right there. Now again, nothing sticks to this material. I went on the Pelican website. They do sell a 3M epoxy glue that's supposed to stick to this. Apparently Pelican has some cases where you can actually glue some other components in. But none of the glue I had on hand glued. I had a special 3M super glue. It didn't work. I used hot glue. It didn't work. I used a 2-part Gorilla epoxy. It didn't work. There was another glue. I can't remember what the heck it was. I tried 4 different glues trying to glue this strap in place, and it didn't work. I ended up having to drill holes. Okay, so let's wrap this up. I did all of this over kind of the Thanksgiving holiday. There were some Black Friday deals going on. Now, I don't think that Pelican Vault V800 was a bad case at all. I think it was actually a preferred case over some other cases that I see on the market. The problem was it was too expensive, and it was too close to the cost of this case. Again, when you shop hard, when you pay too much for the Vault and you shop hard and get the iM3300 for a great price, it turned out to be exactly $10 difference. And here's the kicker. I bought this a week before Black Friday, so I paid $229 for this green case. When Black Friday came around, they had a discount. I asked them if they would apply that that Black Friday discount to this case that I had bought the week before, and they did. So guess what? I ended up paying the exact same amount for this iM3300 case, guaranteed for life, as I did the Vault case that had a 1-year warranty. Now, on Black Friday, some sellers were selling that V800 Vault case. I've kind of forgotten. It was either $139 or $129. I got to tell you, for either one of those two costs, If a person paid $139 for that V800 Vault case, you got a screaming deal, because there's nothing else even close for that price to match the quality of that case. Between the two, I'm really happy with this iM3300, this green case. This does everything I want. When I put my rifle in this case and I tossed it into the back of my truck, I have almost 100% assurance that the gun's going to get to the match just the way it's supposed to, well protected. I don't think I would have had too many complaints about the Vault case. It's a heck of a case. It's strong. It flexes a little bit more than this, but it was actually a little bit deeper. So if the top flexed a little bit more, but you had a little bit more protection between the top of that case and your scope turret, you're still well protected. The only thing is, this case just fits my gun a little better. It's a little bit shorter in length. It's a little bit shorter top to bottom, and it just fits my gun a little better. Now, if you had, two rifles that you're trying to travel with, and they would both fit in that V800 case, man, that's a way to go. I wouldn't want to pay $199 for it, but like I say, those Black Friday deals for $129 or $139 were great. To get this case from Pelicans for less, Boss Industries, for $219 delivered, was a screaming deal. So I would definitely take this iM3300 with the lifetime guarantee over the Vault case. But they're both great cases, and I really can't complain about either one. If I have one complaint, that's the Pelican as a manufacturer. Damn it, Pelican, put straps on your rifle cases. This is Tony from Tacoma, Washington, signing out.